it was written in a magazine in Egypt, but it's really intriguing because it's going to be something that every one of my clients should watch and listen to. Anyone who's trying to amplify their brand. How are you, Dr. Gilda?
Fine. How are you, Neil?
Great. So this is stuff I want to listen to as well because ultimately at the end of the day, people have a message and most people ignore it. Why?
Because they're boring and they're not talking to me. And this is one of the problems. In the article that I wrote that is available on LinkedIn, what happens is that we tell everybody a story. Look at for example, look at the press release that you and I just got from an unknown, well, a known company that we're not going to disclose here. It went on and on and on. And what did they talk about? All the features. Oh, how wonderful. And it does this, and it does this, and it does this. But the problem is that it never talked about the benefits. And everybody sitting at home, everybody sitting in front of you, everybody sitting in an audience wants to know WIFM, WIIFM, what's in it for me? And if you can't get me off my behind and make me do something, order something, buy something, then I have no interest in what you're telling me. It's just a bunch of nonsense. So I wrote this book, and I wrote it actually during if you can see it, I wrote it during the pandemic because everybody was suddenly a star online. Now, I had been teaching all of this material for years and years in MBA courses. And as the courses began to become more effective and widespread, we pushed them onto an online opportunity for people. One of my graduate students told me, "Thank you so much, because I had a client, he was a CPA, because I had a client in China, I was not going to China. But because of what you taught me about projecting myself, I was able to close a six-figure deal with a person I never met, eyeball to eyeball." This is so powerful. You are sitting in front of a screen that is so remarkably powerful, and most people do not use it correctly. They spend all their time memorizing words. Words don't even count. If you're in front of somebody, there are three things you're worried about: your body language, your vocal intonation, and your words. And out of that, 55% is dependent upon your body language. Now, that's very important. If you're on a big stage, you better start moving around because nobody wants to see an avatar.
Yeah, and no one
So
wants to see you
nobody wants to
crouched
see that.
down.
That's exactly right. You
How about the people that sit in these small chairs and get on a Zoom?
no comment. Somebody once put me on a television show like that, and I looked like I was an infant in elementary school. And they had to redo the whole segment because
Okay,
the
so
producers didn't use
body
it.
language
Okay,
is
so body
important.
language counts 55%. Next is your vocal intonation. That counts 78% when you're in front of somebody. And words only count 7%.
Yeah, and it's all about listening. And when you say things like now, if I was having someone who would cut up everything I say, it's gold. I know it is because I think about it being gold. No, it was funny. One of my clients said to me, Neil, you said about something about AI that I never thought about. And he quoted me because now every time I speak, I better have something of knowledge or I shouldn't speak at all.
Ah, that's for everybody. Unless you have at least three nuggets of information that is new and invigorating to your audience, why should they listen to you? What happens is that, and I spent a lot of time not saying, when you say this word, raise your hand, when you say that, no. I spend all my time at the very start of this book and at the start of the article that I wrote. I spent all the time on preparation. I want my audience to hear me. Well, how can I guarantee that they're going to even listen? Well, first of all, I have done my homework. Most speakers don't bother doing their homework. Why do you think speakers get $50,000 for a speech? I mean, that's because they have done so much homework. What the public sees is, ta-da, here I am. And I'm going to talk about this, that, and the other thing. And the public sees, well, how does that person get $50,000 for a speech? Well, because that person put in untold hours studying you, the audience, studying what are your feelings, what are your fears. I want to know, what are your needs? What can I do for you that you do not have currently? And if you as a speaker cannot rock somebody's boat, then you should not be speaking to that audience.
Totally. Period.
Period.
No,
But you see, we spend a lot of time talking about the words. They don't mean
no,
anything.
so here's the problem. Everyone thinks that they have to give everything away in the kitchen sink.
No,
You don't.
only the
Because
brightest people do that. And I have found, and I have taught technical people, I have taught people who are CEOs, I have taught heads of countries, and they think they have to give all this information because everybody's watching them
now,
and
see,
they want
I
to
think of the
deliver.
war. I think of the world of radio still and television, even though podcasting, now people will talk for 20 minutes straight. And I don't know why podcasting has become that. It's like a bore in so many aspects. I mean, even if someone has such great value, the host should have a question. It shouldn't take you 10 minutes to answer it. But podcasting has become that if they're telling a whole story. But I don't understand why that story can't go back and forth.
Well,
It would
as
be
you
interesting.
know,
So Joe Rogan's not going to let someone speak for 20 straight minutes, is he?
nobody's going to speak for 20 straight minutes.
Oh, they do.
Well, then I turn off. I mean, if they do, I turn off because you're telling me you better listen to me because I'm so important. I don't think you're so important unless you prove it to me. Again, you have to prove what's in it for me. And if you don't do that, like right off the boat, then you know what?
So
People
how so this
lose
is the
control.
problem. You're so media centric, and I can't help I can't fault you on that. That if you see but somebody that has doesn't have their shit together, even if they're making money, they're out in your opinion. And I don't look at that because if I did that, I wouldn't have money in the money. I wouldn't have any money right now because ultimately most people need your help, Gilda, and most people need my help
Well,
because
Neil, most people think I know how to communicate. I know what I'm talking about. I know my subject. That doesn't mean that you're communicating it to me according to my needs. Because if you don't do the homework, you ain't gonna sell anything. And what your job is to sell. That is your job. You've got to let people know that you can offer something that they don't have right now.
so how much of this in reading your book will help people who are trying to sell something to somebody?
Oh,
Very important.
this is everything. It's called I didn't call this presentation skills because there's a bunch of things out there about that. I called it amplify your media presence. This is a medium. This is media. And amplify your brand. And most of my clients come to me, I don't care if they're heads of countries, they come to me thinking, I don't have a brand. My country is
Right.
no, you are your brand.
Right.
And the more you talk it up, the more people turn off. They're not interested in your gibberish. They're interested in proving your points with lots of examples. Here's the deal. Most people sit there like, ho hum, what's in it for me? Prove it. And that's the attitude today. There's so much information overload. What is going to get people, grab them off their whatever they're doing. Oh, I'm watching TV, I'm reading a book, I'm out there walking. What is going to grab attention so that those people say, ah, I am enlightened. And if you're not enlightening them, making their life better in one way or another, then you ain't doing your job. And they will turn you off. It's very simple. Now, look, I have spent, as you said, I have spent decades on national TV. So I know the media really, really well. And I also know that you have maybe 3 minutes for a segment. Maybe sometimes they'll stretch it to five. And you've got to get your information out there pronto. You cannot be dilly-dallying around. And if you have to search for the concept, to search for the words, I'm not interested. I will be turned off.
Well, yeah, well, guess what? Now, Gilda, you're finally explaining that to your LinkedIn audience of over 50,000 followers. That guess what? They need to hire you. Because at the end of the day, and I kept saying, we're going to keep doing some gossip talk. But the reason why you people don't know is because Gilda's busy. But Gilda is having only, I guess, five lucky people can work with you right now. Five spots you have available to work one on one to help them amplify their voice, right?
I am very, 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 very busy, and I have been turning clients away. People who are not really interested in doing the homework because there is homework. You have to go home and fill out. I demand that everybody first buy this book on Amazon. It's just a few dollars and find out what I'm talking about. And so we get started immediately and we go straight in 1 hour. You can get more information than you've ever noted before. However, I don't have time. I'm very, very busy. And I did open this up to only five people. So thanks, Neil. Thanks for
Only five. Five, count them, to work with the great Dr. Gilda Carl. And here's the reason. She has interviewed the most amazing people in the world in her career as a talk show host. She has also been involved with the most powerful people in the world. And lastly, she had to work her ass off to even get past the
the
smell test to get
gatekeepers.
on television.
Yes, it's one thing. There are a lot of people out there who are teaching these skills. I don't know how well they're teaching them, but they're teaching skills like these. They have never been in front of an audience. They have
Yeah, so
never
so
been
tell
on
me, so
television.
tell people what audiences you've been in front of.
Everything from, well, one of my movies was on Oprah. Sally Jesse Raphael, every single talk show, most news shows, probably for a long time, every news show, Discovery ID. We talked about some really raunchy behavior of some criminals. Court TV. I you know so many. I can't even remember all of them. But I've been on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNBC. Most Fox News. I spent years on Fox News.
See, and guess what? It's hard to get on those, and she's been on all of them. Why? Because she knows how to amplify her brand.
Well, one of the things that I did learn about television is that I did not ever, ever, ever pitch. They saw me on one show and they said, we've got to get her on our show. And that happened even up in Canada, the Canadians were watching me on television and they said, we have talk shows here. And once a week, I was up in Toronto filming their shows.
All right,
So
best place.
understand, but I'm sorry.
No, it's we are running out of time. drgilda.com. Schedule a call. Apply today. Five spots only remain. Will you be one of them? Thanks, Dr. Gilda.
Thanks, Neil.